Hey y'all, what's going on? Have you ever had a friend just stop talking to you, period, like out of the blue, and like no word, nothing? I've had that happen. I've had that happen a few times. I want to say from like 20, I want to say the first time it happened, the first time it affected me, I will say, was like 2013. I was doing a fashion blog with a friend. You might remember it, the Cufflink. I don't know if you'd followed me back when that was a thing, but I did a men's fashion blog. I did it with a friend, and our relationship kind of dissolved. Um, and I didn't at the time. I didn't think that it was irreparable, but apparently to him, um, the I'm trying to speak about this, and it's hard for me to really go here, but I feel like it's an important story to tell. Um, Only because it's just like it's one of those things that I keep coming up against, and I don't really understand why exactly. I feel like I'm a nice person. I feel like I am a true friend. Once we realize we're in a friendship, um, I'm a true friend. I mean, I'm always like I take that seriously. So to be discarded, it feels bad. But anyway, I'll get there in a minute. Anyway, let's get back to this story. First time was the guy with the fashion blog. He ended up not speaking to me, and that kind of just rocked my world a little bit because you know I was very isolated. Um, Recently, I mean, I guess maybe a couple years out of college, I didn't have any friends in college. Um, I didn't have many friends in high school. I had a few people that I hung out with in high school regularly, so that helped. But, going into college, we kind of move apart into our own different worlds, and I never, and even those weren't friends that I made. They were friends that were kind of, they were neighborhood friends. They became kind of like brothers, and I don't know if left to my own devices whether we would even be friends anyway. Just because I'm not very good at building relationships, and I don't know. I think that's the thing, but coming out of college, being isolated, meeting this guy. It wasn't a romantic thing ever, but it was. I felt like it was a step in the right direction. I meet him. He has a whole group of friends, and we hang out a bunch of times. And then all of a sudden, our relationship is messed up. He decides to cut me off and tells all of his friends to stop talking to me as well. So basically, I'm back now to being isolated, and it felt horrible. And I can remember going from that to a romantic relationship. Um, the guy wasn't a very nice guy. I mean, it started off nice, but then it was like it was that very, I don't know. And I spoke about this a few days ago, and I tweeted about it a few days ago, where the guy is just very detached, and they don't want to show their feelings a lot, and then by by being that way, they end up hurting the people that they may be interested in. And so that happened, and so I was back. I mean, it's just like a bunch of things happened over that span of time between then and now. And then I think most recently, I had one friend, we gone out a few times. I want to say this must have been just before the new year. So like at the end of, so like I want to say December 2017. Met a friend, we went out a few times. Um, you know, we spoke about birthdays, learned that he was having a birthday party. I was having a birthday. It was kind of the same weekend. It was like, what are you doing? He said, oh, I'm having, I'm doing stuff with friends and that right there, it's like, you didn't have, I felt like, okay, now I'm being left out again. This is somebody that I'd gone out with multiple times and I felt we were friendly. And based on what he told me, it wasn't anything that was super intimate. Um, so I don't know why I wasn't invited. I didn't want to push the subject in the middle of the conversation there. I just kind of let it go. But that definitely did hurt my feelings a little bit. But I mean, it's still like, I reached out maybe a couple weeks after that because I was like, all right, let me just get past my own feelings. I mean, maybe I'm just thinking too much of it. Maybe people behave differently. Not other people won't necessarily do exactly as you would do, and that's something that I'd learned. So I figured, let me reach out. And we had an amicable conversation, but then it's just like it never went anywhere. And and it's just like, okay, so what is wrong? What's wrong with me that I can't really get this friendship thing under control? And by a greater extent, the whole romantic thing. Because I feel like, I mean, maybe this is false thinking, but I feel like if I were in a romantic relationship, I wouldn't necessarily be so upset about having the friendships that I'm missing right now. So, fast forward to what happened this past weekend, where, I go out a few times with this one guy that I'm seeing. We're trying to figure out where it's going. Mind you, we've known each other for about a year now, but we just never really took that step to really see whether it would be romantic or not. All of a sudden, contact is dropped. I reach out a couple times. A few of my texts are ignored. My phone call is ignored. And it's just like, okay, so here goes another person who has decided to stop talking to me out of nowhere and leave me with no explanation. And so, it's like, it's these situations that just really, I don't know, it really hurts. And I don't really know what to do about that. It kind of makes you want to think like, screw being social, screw trying to, talk with anybody or meet anybody new, because they'll just gonna end up leaving anyway. That's what it feels like, and that may not be true, but it's like, what else am I supposed to do? If that has been the pattern of my experiences, then what else do I have to go on? So, I'm going through a time right now where I'm just trying to keep the faith. I don't know whether that's working right now, but we'll see. And I may have to give it a few weeks. I definitely am not a person who gives up. So I don't believe that I'm just giving up on relationships, period. I do believe that I'm most likely in a rest period right now. But it's just tough. And, I'm interested to hear what other people are feeling regarding relationships and whether you've had difficulty cultivating new friendships, new romantic relationships. I mean, romantic relationships are just even harder, I think. And it would seem to me like it would be a lot easier to just create a friendship But even that seems to be seems to take a Herculean effort to use an author word. It's like it's just I don't know what it is for me. And at one point I thought maybe it was because I'm out here in Philly and maybe I just don't have the cultural Philly, thing about me, whatever that is. But I'm just not really able to mesh with anybody from my city. And it's funny because all of the guys that I've ever dated have been from outside of Philly. So I don't know. I don't know. If I knew the formula to finding and keeping a friend, I would tell you guys. But I honestly don't think. I believe that there are two sides to every story, and I take ownership of my own piece in certain situations. But I'm of the mind that for the most part, and I don't know, maybe it's just me, but I'm just like, look, we can have an argument, but we can always come back to the table and apologize and move on. Nothing I've ever done has been unforgivable. You know what I'm saying? And in these specific situations that I'm talking about, I don't think I did much anything. But but I don't know. I'm sure you guys will think it's I that's a little I'm being a little difficult as far as explaining what my part was in it, but that's just how I see it. But I don't know. Let me know, what do you think? What are the ways? What are the ways that you cultivate friendships? How do you find friends? How do you keep them once you find them? I feel like it's so hard to meet people. But when you actually meet people, how do you stop them from completely leaving you by the side of the road because they're done with you or whatever? Another thing is I feel like I've done so many things, like community groups, volunteering, a whole bunch of different things. And I feel like it's just so hard to meet people. And I know that is a normal thing for everybody, but I don't know. It just seems, I'm here on this couch, and that's about it for me. I'm just letting y'all know. Me and this couch are best friends, and that's it. And I'm just trying, and I think one of the reasons that this is so hard, like this creative thing is so hard, you try to reach out to people to even collaborate and do things, and then they'll read your email or they'll read your Instagram DM, but they won't respond. And it's just like, okay, so I know you don't have like 3 million followers, so you can say something like, I'm not interested, or no thank you, I'm busy, something, right? And so it's just like, and sometimes, and I know that that's not a personal thing, but sometimes I just take it personally, and I probably do that because of my own issues in, I guess, real life, outside of social media or outside of, networking, like social networking. So anyway, let me know your thoughts. Hit me up in the comments. I would love to see what you guys think. Regarding a log of what I've been doing today, I did actually get back on doing some editing today. I've been editing every day. So like I said in the past video, even though I haven't been putting up videos for the past couple of days, I did do some editing work. So the book, I'm about halfway done with my initial edits, and so eventually I will be done with those initial edits, and then I'll be able to ask some questions of my ex-detective uncle to try to get this story to be a little bit more realistic. But that's all I have for right now. If you enjoyed the episode, leave me a thumbs up. And also hit the bell on the screen there and, get notified of new videos that come up. And yeah, I'm happy to talk this out. I would like to crack the code on friendship. So let me know. See ya.